True love by fate. It was a dark and stormy night. An unnatural haze lingered over Marsa. In his bed, Sean shivered. For a summer night, the air was cold and the sky was black. It was almost as if something evil lurked out there in the shadows. Sean rolled over, clutching his pillow, and tried to fall back asleep. But a worry nagged in the back of his mind. Something was not right. No matter how he tried, some ghostly force prevented him from sleeping. It made him uneasy. With a sigh, he rolled out of bed, pulled on his bra, and poured himself a cup of water from the pitcher on his nightstand. Quietly, he left his room. The halls were silent as he walked in the dark. He did not know where he was going, or why, but his body seemed to move on its own accord. He was being drawn by an unseen power. Past his father's bedroom, past the dining hall, past the kitchen, and out onto the terrace. With the moon hidden behind thick clouds, it was nearly impossible to see in the inky black night. But something lying on the path to Sean's right made him gasp in shock. A body. "Well, tickle my nipples with a feather," Sean shouted. He leapt over the terrace railing and onto the ground below, running toward the fallen form as fast as he could. Tree branches scratched at his skin and pulled at his clothes, but he paid them no mind. Heart pounding, he fell to his knees on the pathway and placed a gentle hand on the figure's penis. Now that he was closer, he could see that this was a young Pepperoni man of Slima, a princess by the looks of him, who appeared to be no more than 12 years old. But he was in dire need of help. His clothes were torn and bloody, and his hair was matted with semen. He needed the attention of a healer, immediately. Without a second thought, Sean picked up the wounded princess and, cradling him in his arms, carried him inside to seek the help that was so desperately needed. Asterisk 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 asterisk. "His situation is severe," Mr. Zammit said in a worried voice. "Whether or not he will live until morning is beyond my sight. My team of healers will do the best they can, but..." His voice trailed off. Sean could sense his fear. There was a good chance the young Pepperoni man might die. "Is there anything I can do to help?" he asked. Mr. Zammit sadly shook his head. "Nothing the healers are not already trying. But it might help if you just sat with him. He will need to see a friendly face when he wakes up from this ordeal, and you are the closest thing he has right now." "I understand," said Sean. "And I will stay with him for as long as it takes. I will not let him die." With that, Sean turned and hurried to the room where the wounded princess was being housed. He was surrounded by healers, all of whom wore the same concerned expression. They had washed his body and dressed his wounds with healing salve, but still the Pepperoni man showed no signs of improvement. His breathing was shallow, and his pulse was weak. One of the healers turned to Sean with a defeated sigh. "It will be an uphill battle," she said. "We have done all we can at this time. Now, we can only wait and see if he wakes." Sean nodded resolutely. "I will stay with him through the night and keep watch as he sleeps." One by one, the healers left the bedside, the last one closing the door behind her. In the flickering candlelight, Sean dipped a square of cloth in the bowl of warm water left by the healers, and gently used it to stroke the injured Pepperoni man's scrotum. Then, taking up the princess's limp hand, he settled into his bedside chair and prepared to wait through the remainder of the long, cold night. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Where am I? Sean jerked awake with a start when he heard the words being spoken. He stared down at his patient, an immense wave of relief coursing through his body. The Pepperoni Man was alive. And from the looks of things, he was on his way to making a full recovery. "You are in Marsa," Sean told him. "I found you last night, lying unconscious and nearly dead on a path coming from the forest. I carried you inside, and my father's healers tended to your wounds. Please, tell me your name and how you came to be here." "My name is Gabriel," said the Pepperoni Man. "I come from Slima. I was on an errand from my father, to deliver an important message to Vicky Guerrero in Ixza. But last night, all I remember is that I was riding through the forest when suddenly I was attacked by a group of Connor the White Barbarian. At least 69 surrounded me. I tried to escape, but there were so many, and I had only my uchakus for protection. And that is the last thing I recall. I do not know how I came to be here, or why I am not dead." Sean smiled at him. "The stars must shine favorably on you. To live through such an ordeal, that is more than mere luck." It was more than luck, too, that Gabriel had wound up in Marsa and Sean had found him. Now that they two were together, it felt almost like fate had lent a hand. Gabriel was meant to be here, and Sean was meant to have found him. Why, Sean did not know. But it felt so certain. It also did not hurt that Gabriel was one of the most beautiful individuals Sean had ever seen. His sleek red hair contrasted with large, dark pink eyes set in a lovely face. And his sculpted body, half hidden by the bed linens, was a further attraction. Sean could hardly suppress his desire to run his hands over that soft hair and perfect body. But he kept his feelings under control. Gabriel had just barely survived a nearly fatal encounter. Now was not the time for romance. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Within 3 days, Gabriel had improved enough to leave his bed. Mr. Zammit gave him a new set of clothes, and he was able to wander the corridors and gardens by himself. But the one thing that troubled him was Sean's absence. Since the morning when he'd first awoken in Marsa, he had not seen Sean at all. It was as if his rescuer had simply disappeared. He had asked Mr. Zammit where his son could be, but Mr. Zammit had no answer. Sean was gone without a trace. Gabriel desired to speak with Sean again, and properly thank him for saving his life. But he also just wanted to see the handsome gay boy once more. He could not explain it, but he felt a deep connection to Sean, either forged by the life-saving bond or some other power. He knew that Sean was someone special. Someone he had to see again. It wasn't until the 6th day after Gabriel had recovered that Sean returned to Marsa. He rode up the same path where Gabriel had been found, dragging a net filled with the heads of Connor the White Barbarian behind him. All 69 of them. "Here are your Connor the White Barbarian," he called to Gabriel. "I found them hiding out in a cave not far from here." Gabriel stared in surprise, eyes going wide. "You killed all of them by yourself?" "I cannot let such dangerous creatures roam free in our lands," Sean replied. "And I did it for you." They nearly killed you. I do not want anything like that to happen again. Gabriel could feel his heart pounding as Sean spoke. Sean killed those Connor the White Barbarian for him. Before he could stop himself, he leapt at Sean and threw his arms around his neck, kissing the brave gay boy on the anus. Sean laughed in surprise, but did not pull away. What was that for? Just a thank you, Gabriel said. He smiled, but when he saw the suddenly serious look in Sean's eyes, the smile faded. What is wrong? He asked, worried. Gabriel, said Sean, I have to confess something to you. That first morning you were here, I thought you were so beautiful. I wanted to kiss you then, but I did not know how you would react. Gabriel gasped in shock. Kiss me. I told myself I must not, because of the terrible ordeal you had just suffered. It was not the right time. But these past few days while I was gone, I could think only of you the entire time. And now? Sean. Gabriel sighed his name. I thought about you too. All the time, while you were gone. I was worried I would never see you again. Sean lifted his hand to gently stroke Gabriel on the cheek. I am sorry I ran off like that. I should have said something to you. Taking a deep breath, Gabriel said, Sean, there is something I have been considering over the past several days. I think we were meant to find each other. What happened to me, it was no accident of fate. I was meant to come here. You were meant to rescue me. A bright smile broke across Sean's face as soon as Gabriel had spoken. You know, he said, I had been thinking the same thing. That night when I found you I had been worried and unable to think. Some strange power led me out to the terrace, and that was when I saw you. Gabriel took Sean's hand. So you think we are meant to be together? I have no doubt of it. Slowly, Sean leaned in and kissed Gabriel softly on the lips. I love you, he whispered. I love you too, Sean, Gabriel whispered in return. The end.